Fruity Love Philter has a lot of interesting abilities, and one of those is to add interesting formants movements and resonance movements to your sounds. So I have here an example. Let me go ahead and turn it off first. And this is just a sound. I was just doing some sound design. Here's what it sounds like. And now I'm going to go ahead and enable it, and this is what it sounds like after. So we've got some really interesting stuff, and it should go without saying here, this is going to be a slightly more advanced tutorial, and I'm not going to be explaining how to make the sound. We're focused entirely on the Fruity Love Philter and what it's bringing to the table. So opening up the Fruity Love Philter, it's a pretty basic routing scenario where we have our audio coming in, and then I send each output to the next filter bank. So you can see the next is up on each of these, and we go through 5 of them before I finally send it out of the plugin. Each plugin stage, it has an important resonance role, so to speak. And there are a couple filters in particular that we're interested in. We're interested in the band stop, the band pass, and the all pass. There are a couple others that I have experimented with, but I believe these are all band stop or all pass filters. And you could try a low pass or even some shelving filters. It depends on the sound that you're working on. But I have several stages of equalization after that I'm doing various things with. And so this was purely to act as a way to poke holes in the sound or shift the phases of frequencies around. So I went ahead and set up a little demonstration because it's really important that you understand what these filters are doing. And the all-pass filter seems kind of mystical, but what an all-pass filter does is it just makes it so that essentially there's a phase change. So I have here a sine wave. Oh, good point. Make sure that if you're going to be playing sounds, remember the whole pattern switching thing that goes on. You're going to want to disable the note input if you're going to play a synth live while this thing is in focus. So here's a sine wave, and we've got an all-pass filter on the first channel. If I move the cutoff around, you can see it doing stuff. Now that it's kind of hard to tell, right, with just moving it manually. So I'm going to go ahead and enable an LFO to move the cutoff for me. And let's bring the speed up. And let's also bring the cutoff down so it can be modulated up. And that is what you get. So we see that we get essentially a frequency change. The reason for this is the rate of change of phase is the definition of frequency. Instantaneous frequency anyways. If you go into FM synthesis, it's all that stuff. So there's actually some FM capabilities also here. But I discovered it because I was experimenting with this. If you bring the resonance way up, you can get much more pronounced shape changes. But then if you bring the cutoff up, or not the cutoff, if you bring the speed up, it freaks out at you. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to do this, but with the resonance all the way up, if you turn it up, yeah, I'm not even holding the note anymore. It freaks out. So that's probably a bug. I didn't even know this could turn white. So yeah, there's that. Maybe I did if I put some noise in or whatever, but that caught me a little off guard. So you can experiment with that. I was like, oh, what if we could do some FM stuff? But apparently that's not on the table right now. You can get some pretty crazy stuff if you pump the resonance pretty high. And then you change the shape of the LFO. And then if you increase the filter type with the all pass, you'll get much more pronounced results. And it only happens when you start bringing the speed way up. Anyways, that's a whole side point. But now you hopefully have an idea of what the all pass does. Let's go ahead really quick. And while we're here, let's also send through something with more harmonics. Okay, so we've got a couple more harmonics going on. And now if we go ahead and change the LFO to something, more slow. It's kind of like a phaser's going through it. And this has the effect of smearing things around, especially if you have something that's very transient and then you send it through an all pass while automating it. You can get a smearing sort of effect that can actually be pretty cool. So that's what we're achieving when we send it through a all pass filter. When we go for the band stop right here, what we're going to get, let's turn off this automation here. With the different filter types, is holes in our signal. And let me give Mars, let's get some more frequencies up here so we can really see it. All right. So see there's actually 2 holes with this filter. If we go down to dual, we only have one really big one. In fact, if we bring it down, and then we've got single, like so, and I have a very high resonance. We take the resonance away, the holes become much thinner. And if we change filter type, bring the resonance up. So that's what resonance is going to do when you're messing with a band stop. And what this means is if we have a series of band stop filters in a row, we can remove frequencies. We can take them out. And you can go and look up formances and actually look for like the specific frequencies that we remove or add or whatever when we are speaking. Now, you're going to just be removing them because you're going to be using a filter. So you need something that generates a lot of frequencies. And you can get some really cool like yeah, yeah, yeah kind of sounds. And you can go and look those up. There's even some great posts on the image line form for the Fruity Love Filter that cover exactly this. So you can go ahead and go check those out if you want. But that is the general idea of what we're doing. So on our original patch, let me go ahead and bring this one back. And we go back to the initial one. We've got quite the signal chain here. But what the Fruity Love Filter is doing is essentially, it's just going through. And so here we remove some. And I've created an index to move the cutoff. So the hole in our sound is moving all over the place. And there's a high resonance. So it's a somewhat large hole. This one has low resonance. It's an all pass filter. So this is going to provide an interesting phasing going on. And when you move it, you notice that the X relationship on this one is a lot more subdued. Once I had a shape picked out, which is this is right here. So I sort of settled on moving up and then having all the filters rest on a particular resonance or cutoff value. So you achieve like a static formance for a moment, but it moves occasionally. And so that's what's going on with the all pass. We go through another band stop. This one, I decided to move around in a different area of the spectrum. Again, moving around in a different area of the spectrum at a different cutoff value and a different resonance. And then again with another all pass, this time it's just sweeping all the way up on the mod X. So nothing's linked up to anything else. It's just mod X. At the beginning, there's a low band, but it doesn't matter because I don't have a low band to mess with here. So I just sort of left that there. If you're like, what the heck is that? And then the mod X is moving all around, and that's what's creating our awesome sound. And that is the general principle. You would come in, you could start with a preset like mine, or you could make your own. You could send things out in parallel. Maybe that could be cool. And you just go through and essentially just set up a bunch of interesting formances. If you want to get fancy, you can go after specific frequencies. It's going to take longer to set up, but the results can be worth it. And I believe there are actually presets on the image line forms. I didn't check those out. I saw an FOP for download. So you can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. But you can add some really nice formants. You get some smearing sort of effects as a result. And that's what's giving us that nice extra little sheen on top. This one's a little more, I guess, like sandpaper is what I'd call it. And this one's just like almost like a glassy, smooth, boiling water kind of a texture. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos. And have a blessed day.